All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for Wonder Egg Priority, Episode 7.
Ai's going back to school.
Yeah, she's told
Good luck, girl.
Sensei, and and he looks kind of surprised, but also like, okay.
And things might not be as simple as we originally thought with regards to the situation with the Sensei, because
he's going to be potentially getting together with Otoai's mom.
Yes, that too. But also, there is a very strong possibility that, and it seems to be this way, that I also had a crush on the teacher in addition to a lot of the rest of the school. So that probably also ties into Koito's whole situation. But yeah. Oh boy.
Yeah, I can see all kinds of complicated emotional messes coming from this.
Yep.
Yeah.
If this teacher actually ends up being just like really wholesome, I am going to
be
flip.
Surprised.
Yeah.
So, y'all, without further ado, let's get into this. All right, everyone, now be sure to go check out the reaction portion of the video in the description below, then come back here for the discussion. This was a good episode.
This was real good.
This might be up there in my like top maybe 2 or 3 favorite episodes. This show. Like, one of the things that's really good about it was it focused primarily on Rika.
Yes.
I think that one of the things that the show did a lot more when they were introducing the characters was individual character focus. But the settings upon which they would be interacting with each other, and also bringing in the mother to be that other character to interact in different locations outside of the main 4.
Right. That kind of sounding board for all the stuff that Rika's going through. It was really good.
And then getting to see the other sides of Rika. Because when she was describing a lot of the things that she disliked about her mother, I was realizing, oh shit, she's kind of turning into her mother in some small, subtle ways.
Yeah, because when you focus on something, that's what you end up kind of turning into, regardless of whether the focus is positive or negative. And so, like, there were things that this episode did with regards to the idea of self-acceptance that I was quite surprised by. Because like, okay, self-acceptance. With regards to, like, coming-of-age stories and young adult, like, characters and all that stuff, that's not uncommon, right? Like there are a lot of them out there, and they're usually quite good, right? It's a good topic to focus on and things like that, right?
Yeah.
But some of the things that they went over here, like, for instance, Rika accepting her cutting and the function that played and saying, well, I'm still alive, so... Right. I accept this part of myself too, because it's, this is a weakness, but it's still me. Like, that's, I love it, because it would be so easy in a situation like that to get focused on the, I shouldn't be doing this because this is
bad.
Right. Because what it is it's a symptom that there's a problem, right?
Yeah.
And then you get focused on the symptom, and then because you say, well, this symptom shouldn't be here, right? Then you kind of end up focusing on the problem, and then you can get stuck in it, right? It's when your body gets a fever, that's actually the fever isn't a bad thing. It's that's the byproduct of it dealing with some internal issue, right? And so the fact that the show had the character go through like a moment of acceptance for something as like visibly visceral as self-harm, way to go.
Yeah,
way to go.
Yeah.
So
I love also the way in which the show kind of told us this was going to be a Rika episode by establishing the beginning bit with the lipstick and setting that up for the mom, which was cool.
That was great.
And then dunking out the alcohol into the cigarette little butts, little container there, which is kind of like a little kind of petty way of being like, fuck you, mom.
Right, but then also like showing the litany of drawing attention to the list of issues, right?
Exactly. Yeah. But I loved the way once they all started texting and getting like Rika to the spot, you then see them kind of having this light touching upon the fact that Oto is now going to school, and Rika diverts focus from the happy birthday, Rika, we should celebrate. No, let's celebrate the fact that you're no longer a Hiki.
Yeah.
Which is like, yes, that's really sweet. Nice little transition to the thing that happened in the previous episode, but Rika, you're also
kind of deflecting.
Yep. You know, a little bit of that because you maybe don't want to celebrate that.
And the way she mentioned, like, that's codependency. You know, it's like, oh, codependency? Wait, what? What are you talking about? What? Like, there was some really cool things this episode with regards to basically building up to the fact that Rika is at this place where a really bad day that should be a really good day, or like a good day that ends up getting just thrown into the toilet, could totally lead to her killing herself. And this was a really like chilling episode in that regard. But I loved the fact that it came down to that. But the actual thing that saved her wasn't her friends, which is really rough in that respect because they haven't known each other that long. But it was the fact that she would be damned if she's going to be the one that's going to turn into her mother. Right.
When she saw it, she's like, oh, I'm your mom. Right. And mothers are supposed to protect.
Oh, shit.
And that realization being the thing that snapped her out of this was just like, oh,
which is great too, because
it hurts and it's so good.
Because like in her situation, right? Her friends wanted to help her, but they couldn't. She had to actually save herself, right? In the situation with her mom, if we use the turtle as the representation, there's a good possibility that there was a point where Rika was trying to save her mom, essentially.
Yes.
But it wouldn't work. The mom would not accept the help. She did not want to be saved. She wanted to stay within her own, you know, self-pity and misery and all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
As a result of that, Rika has, you know, kind of separated herself from her mom emotionally, for sure.
Yes, for sure.
But also, as we saw at the end of the episode, and I'm really glad that they ended up stating this, it's also the thing of I'm not going to stay with you, right? No. You know, I'm not going to, like, you're going to abandon me, and of course the mom phrases it like that, right? And Rika fully admits, yes, I am.
Absolutely.
But not right now.
Not right now.
And that's...
Yeah. In all practical sense, it's something where the reality of the situation is that she probably can't,
right?
In any in any easy way now. But there will come a time where she's an adult,
and she is moving towards that.
Yeah, that'll be easy,
right?
But I love the frustrations you can feel coming from Rika throughout this episode of trying to understand these things and also wanting to have desires and wishes like, you know, a birthday wish, like, I want to just see my dad. I want to know who he is. I want to stop fantasizing about him because I don't know who he is.
Yep.
I love that. Ugh.
And I love that when it started, and it's like, okay, Rika's got, you know, this thing that she's dealing with and everything, and then she puts down the 5 pictures, and she's like, one of these is my dad, I'm pretty sure. That made me think that it's like we're going to go on an episode adventure of let's find Rika's dad. You know, we'll figure this out. You know, Nehru will get all like, you know, all right, well, analytical. Let's figure this out. But no, that's not what it was about. Because it's not about whether she actually finds her dad, because her dad won't have the answers, right? And in a similar way to the fact that the mom has been made perfectly aware that the dad doesn't have the answers, right?
Yeah, he's not going to solve this for you.
Nope. So you gotta figure it out. Yeah, how are you going to do that?
Well, first off, you need to rely on your friends. This is something that I really like that they did and didn't do here, was that Rika end up basically put into a situation where she's like, aren't friends amazing? And Oto's like, yeah, friends are great. And then she's like, I'm going to let you all listen to my grumbling, basically. Basically the thing of, you guys are now my friends, and this is my birthday.
You got to put up with me now.
So you're going to have to put up with me. And it's like, they're like, yeah? Sure,
but then she doesn't.
Well. Specifically, she didn't like the responses she was getting.
Yes, from
things
Nehru specifically.
Well, also from
Momoe.
Yeah. Things started to get a little bit more into the like, well, hold on, you're grumbling, and that's great, but they started to say things that could tie it back to you in some way. And this is the part that I think is really awkward and uncomfortable here, was that...
For the characters or audience-wise?
Well, for Rika, basically.
Gotcha.
Is that when she started describing her mother, there were aspects about how she was describing her that were like, oh, that's kind of you, too. Like a lot of the traits. Not all of them, but a lot of them, like more than 50%. Like,
right, you can see the ways in which Rika is kind of rebelling to be different, but at the same time is still kind of circling back.
And that was the codependency side of things that Neru hit the nail kind of not exactly on the head with, but very close to, enough to the point where it's like, whoa, hold on. I was, wanting to grumble. I wasn't wanting a counseling session.
Right, exactly. I'm feeling outnumbered now. And,
yeah. Are you guys on my side?
This is my birthday. Come on.
Yeah, this is my birthday. Right. Exactly.
I'm supposed to be able to just vent.
Right. But I love the way in which she's like, okay, I'm going to run because this is uncomfortable, this is painful. But she knows that Oto's going to run towards her, but specifically Oto, because Oto's known her the longest.
Yep.
Seen probably more of Rika in that regard. But also she knew it would just Oto because Oto was the only one not really saying things that made Rika uncomfortable.
Well, and I feel like she strikes the balance of being sensitive, emotionally sensitive enough, while at the same time having that little bit of confidence to actually go after her, whereas like Momoe probably has the sensitivities enough, but wouldn't have the confidence to actually be like, go after her. And then Neru, well, she said her whole deal of, I don't know if I'm fit for, female society, but yeah.
Which is just an interesting way to put it, because it's like, hold on, you're a CEO, apparently, and you're telling me you've just never interacted. What?
Yeah. Well, yeah. It's
I call bullshit on Neru's thing there, but also Neru's perceptions of how it works specifically. Like her deductions might be right, maybe, but I think her perceptions and the way she's getting to some of that stuff is actually faulty. It's usually the other way, is that people are usually decently good at perceiving. It's the interpreting part where most people just are wrong.
Okay, sure.
It's the idea we all have senses, right?
Right, yeah.
But most people don't have a good critical thinker.
Yeah, if you see someone do something, you think about what it would mean if you were to do that
exactly.
thing, rather than what it means for them to do that.
Translate it out of their language into yours, and thus you're usually incorrect with your deduction. I think on some level the issue with her is that she makes decent deductions, but she misses the big picture,
right.
the context.
She needs a Shiro to come along and say, just because you're correct doesn't mean you're right.
Exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, the only other thing I'll say about Neru for this episode, because there was that little bit of like focus on her, is that apparently she never had any parents, but she has a sister.
Well,
I'm curious what the situation is there.
I think there was a little bit of vagary in the way that she described that stuff, so that
like maybe some deflections and obfuscation on her part.
Well, maybe she wasn't specifically talking about parents. She was talking about certain things that parents do.
Oh, gotcha.
And it's not that she never had parents, because she exists.
Well, right, but like I'm meaning like if she was like an orphan or something like that.
Yes, exactly. That's what I mean, is that she might not have had the presence of parents,
Sure.
But I think whatever it is, she is looking out for brain shorted out.
One of the characters, or
my brain just shorted out.
Because she had the whole situation with her sister.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think it's that. That's what I was thinking of. My brain just completely shorted out.
That happens.
Yeah.
But so with the stuff with Rika, I'm really glad that we got this episode for focus on her, because one, I would absolutely love to get this kind of stuff for all four of the girls, because they've been introduced, but now let's go deep. Let's see them, see them go on their own growth journey, since they're not the main characters. So it would be easy for that to get left by the wayside, since Ai is the main focus of the story.
Right, and we had that with Oto kind of in the last episode.
Yes, and with Rika specifically, I feel like she's the type of character that one makes sense to kind of have her like revisit sooner than the other girls, because
she was introduced earlier.
She was introduced earlier than like Momoe, but she's also she's a very aggressive character.
Right, she's probably the most aggressive of all the characters.
Right, so it makes sense that she would kind of like take that spotlight. She does like being in the spotlight.
Right.
But it's also something where I feel like because she's so good at putting up that front, without something like this where she gets the full focus for the episode where we go into her head and things like that, it would be very easy for it to just not happen, right? Because she used to be an idol. She knows how to have that, like, you know, the go into sort of presentation mode, right? Where this is the face that everybody sees, right? When she puts on that smile, when she goes to hang out with her friends, that is not a smile that they would have been able to see past, right? Without something, you know, really to get underneath it. And in a similar way, us, the audience, we never would have really been able to get this story from the outside. We would have had to get this first-person perspective. Right. So I'm glad we got it.
Yeah. And, okay, she's been having lots of issues with family and then, of course, her father being one that gave her very specific words that she's held on to all this time, not because the words are necessarily so wise or anything like that, but because they're the only things that she remembers of him.
Yep.
And it's like, I can't even remotely imagine what that would be like. But I do know on a 1 degree of separation note what it's like to be close to someone that's self-harming, basically. And there's a tenderness that I don't think I've ever seen in, like, so, you know, when someone's going through some stuff and they feel raw, you can almost tell that there's like
they're in this moment they're fragile.
They're fragile. Yes, that's a great way to describe it. It's the raw is the idea of the exposed flesh. That's the metaphor that makes sense. But fragile, I think, combined with that makes a really good picture here. Is that the harm in that case could be the instance of denying that and being like, no, I am strong. I can handle the pain. I'm alive. I can. That was the instance that I saw from my experience with someone, and it was really rough to basically just be there, but have that almost that like they said, like that, the hug of love or the hug of friendship or whatever.
Yeah. Hug of life, I think.
Hug of life. Yeah. But the feeling of like, oh, if I feel like if I squeeze too tight,
they might break.
I will break them. And I've never experienced that in, you know, talking or helping or just being around someone who's going through any like other kind of situation other than that. And it's so terrifying in a way, because you feel so just like, I'm here. What can I do? How can I be here for you? Just, you know, anything.
Yeah.
But I just resonated so well with how they portrayed the scene, because who gives a fuck about the cult, you know, spider thing or whatever that conflict was. But the moment when it kind of wrapped her up in the dark, kind of like
cocoon of sorts,
and basically it was like, there's nothing else out there, this will be easier if you just end it. I was just like, oh man, that's such a good like visual way to describe what the feeling
right, because it
would be.
Because and that's why I'm glad that the voices of her friends weren't enough, because in this space physically she's blocked off from the rest of the world, right? But the friends are able to talk to her through the devices, right? Emotionally, what's happening is that emotionally she's kind of getting closed off, right? There's nothing else. So the voices of her friends, the emotional cries and pleas and stuff, kind of aren't going to reach her, right? Because you know, she's in the throes of everything, right? There is nothing else. And then, you know, she ends up I feel like it's a mixture of luck and then also a testament to her own internal strength and fortitude, that, you know, even though it was an act of the turtle or whatever, it's still kind of like, it was her own perceptions of seeing the thing happen and all that stuff that made her realize, oh, that's right. I'm being like my mom. Didn't I promise myself that I would be, completely different from her?
Yeah. I also loved the visual representation of when she gets flung up into the air with the turtle, and then ends up grabbing a piece of the
blown off leg
of the
or
blown
whatever.
off leg of this little not spider thing, and it looks kind of like the X-Acto knife.
Oh.
And then she hucks it right through the thing's mouth.
Oh,
and
nice.
just obliterates it.
Yep.
I'm trying to find the exact part here, but this animation just went all out for that brief bit there. But yeah, speaking of which, the thing of like, whoa, that was close. I almost turned into a selfish piece of shit mother. Mama taught me one true thing: men who ask women for money are all fakes. And it's like, yeah. In this moment, I almost became the worst aspect of my mother.
Yep. And yet
I wouldn't even protect my daughter. And yet, my mom taught me one thing that I can rely on that's good. And even that one thing
it's maybe not like
it's not like something profound or crazy good or anything, and it might not even apply to most people's life situations.
Right. But in this situation,
to her,
it
you
helps
know
her
what?
out.
Damn it! I'm gonna use this as my battle cry.
Yep, that's
because
right.
she is my mom, but
right.
All right,
and that's yes,
you're a big fake,
And that's one of the things that I love about this, because it makes it so that the thing that she says at the end of, yeah, I am going to abandon you one day, but not today, can really feel cathartic for me, because it's something where her mom is absolutely not done right by her, right? But amidst all of the crap that she's had to deal with, there was some good stuff.
Yeah.
Even if you have to brush off the dirt and spit on it and polish it and stuff, like there's some stuff in there that you can take from all of this, and that's
good.
Yeah.
I also loved her little one-liner of, who cares if he channels it or scrambles it, and it's just like, what? Rika, you're amazing.
Yeah, scrambles. I have no idea how that goes into it, but yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. It's the Cosmos basically saying, this guy.
It's all the vernacular is all hogwash anyways. So.
Yeah. Who cares if he actually is connected to the all the truth or whatever? I can destroy him, whatever. So I just
wonderful
I
episode.
I love it. Yeah, but then the whole thing of, well, but you're weak too.
It's like, hell yes, I am.
Yeah. And that's why I use this balance, so I don't have to ditch the things I care about.
I'm
weak, but that's the real me. Even if it means hurting myself, I'm going to live.
Acknowledging, and I know I said this before, but acknowledging that your, that our lowest moments and the things that we do in our lowest moments, that those are also a part of us trying to, figure out the situation, right?
Yeah, trying to find balance.
Yeah. That is, that's so important. That's so important, because I know that there would be a lot of people that would see something like that and they'd be like,
that's wrong.
That's wrong.
Yeah, you should deny that, because that's the lowest part of yourself.
Basically. Yeah, exactly. That's no.
Yeah, you're not. It's like
you certainly shouldn't accept that or say that it was something good.
It's like saying, whoa, hold on. If you are a big lake of some kind,
okay,
and there's a bunch of silt that sits at the bottom of the lake, and it's dirty and gunky down there, but the top of the lake you have all the warmer water, it's cleaner, and stuff like that. Just because it's all the lake. It all is, the same thing there. You shouldn't just deny or just localize yourself off to specific parts just because you happen to find certain parts less,
exactly
favorable.
Yep.
I think this is one of the things also that the show is about self-acceptance, but it's about accepting the past and really taking a hard look at it and being okay with the fact that your past happened, basically. I think that there's a lot of therapy that goes into basically making sure that you're not denying the past.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Because I think a lot of people will get into complexes and stuff and just really, really fucked up situations where they'll be like, now everything's great, because once certain things like go into the past, you've done them, time passes, you're like, I can just kind of push that all into its own little trash bin over there. And
forget about it. Yeah.
Forget about it. And it's like...
that happened for a reason.
Yeah.
Well, some of it might have been environmental or things like that. Or whatever.
Yeah, it might not have been at all to do with you.
Yep. But if there is some aspect of it that comes from inside you and that's not reconciled, accepted, and all of that stuff, that's just gonna fester and happen more. The mom's whole
just gonna haunt you at random points in your life. Yeah.
The whole situation with the mom's drinking and things like that is probably because she hasn't accepted what happened with regards to her love life and things like that, and just that she doesn't actually really like the way things are going for her right now.
Yeah.
But she doesn't accept it, and then she just sort of wallows in it.
That's the group hug of life is there for you, Rika.
Yeah.
So now let's go and do this for Neru or Momoe.
Yes, absolutely.
Y'all, thank you so much for watching this episode's reaction and discussion. If you want to see the next episode's reaction and discussion right now, though, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You can get an early access there. You can watch full-length timer reactions there, and all this comes with Discord access, so you can chat with us in the community there about this show, about anime in general, and also be sure to check out our Twitch channel.
We stream every weekday. The info's in the description.
Yeah, so if any of that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all
next time.